Hey guys, it's me T coming at you with a new read for today. Let me see if I can adjust you. All right, so we're getting better in terms of like what you can see um and what you're able to kind of like, participantly engage in. One, two, three. We're just gonna get started because I already shuffled the cards. These are going to be Oh, interesting. That's pretty cool. Do I share that at the end of the reading? Okay. Yeah, that is definitely something that I want to share. Even though it may not seem that ooh, it may not seem. Do I share the bottom of this deck? Okay, yeah. So we're going to definitely do bottom of the decks. So I just have to thank Spirit so much for revitalizing me. Sorry that I didn't come on yesterday. I actually was planning on doing it, but then the way that the flow is going, I was like, it looks like it's not going to happen. And I didn't pop on here to kind of let you guys know that because I think there's a way to let you know if I'm going to be coming on or not on this on via YouTube, but I just didn't get to social media at all because I was just very much so in the moment. But with all really good intentions of being revitalized and coming at you with like a fresh new perspective and a fresh kind of revitalized connection with spirit, which is I think also what was going on globally, I feel, because of the fact that yesterday was a 10-day, which is like closing out of an old cycle and really beginning a new one. So I'm really excited to see what the cards have in store for us today because I just feel that today was like there was major epiphanies. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna just kind of work our way over from the yin to the yang. So today we have, oh my God, as I said, realizations and epiphanies that happened this morning for sure. Now that's amazing. Okay, this is so beautiful because these cards are divinely sent. So there you, from this morning, you had realization and epiphanies in terms of your future creativity, your children, like there was some sort of like creative flow there, you know? I felt as though that you had a connection to the outdoors. So whether or not you were like being outdoors, that's when you got the epiphany, or just by you being outdoors, you received a really quick download that turned into epiphany. In terms of any future projects or what you would want to do in the future. If you were like me, it's interesting. It's like you've had this project on your mind, but it wasn't coming together. But today was like a culmination of like the aha, like, oh, here's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's it. That's all I'm getting for that. Are we moving on? Yes, we are. Healthcare change. Beautiful. Okay. So again, with closing out of the old and coming into the new, of course there's going to be, a change and positive change, okay? Healthcare change, I feel in this case is also the change in perspective of spirit, okay? I feel as though this is how do I want to say it? There's basically new stuff that came at you in terms of how you want to live your life for the better. So what I'm thinking here is like kind of like bucket list stuff in terms of, like anything that would make your life better, you've been taking a note of. What else? They're telling me you be the divine. Okay, so maybe what was going on is that you decided that you are going to live your life in a more highlighted type of life, but also a life that's more fulfilling to you. Okay, fulfillment has really been coming up. So here's where the healthcare change comes into play. It's like whatever is going to make you happy and feel healed is now going to be something that you're really going to concentrate on and really put that into perspective. Okay. I feel like there's somebody in your vicinity that has been really somebody that you've kind of really taken stock in terms of how they live their life and what they believe in. And, you know, like you've been feeling their emotional effects and you want it too, right? So you're actually taking the steps to really observe them on a like more serious like level to kind of implement what they're doing with their lives so that you can apply it to yours and gain the same results. What I'm also hearing is you're reaching out to that person too. So like whether or not you know, like I've had and I'm very grateful for this. I've had very few people, which is so interesting. I want to say, well, I'm not going to put the number out there. I'm just going to say very few people that have had the courage to reach out to me on a personal level to ask me certain questions about how to upkeep and maintain their emotional balance, their emotional fulfillment, wholesomeness, you know, and that type of thing, like how to prolong that, you know. So I just feel like you might be reaching out to a person that really kind of has you feeling really positive in this life. And you're gonna kind of you're gonna get pointers from them, you know. And this could literally be on such a practical level in terms of making a list of where you want to go bucket wise, you know. Like let's say you've hung out with somebody and they really want to they're telling you about their experience and you're like, oh my god, I always wanted to do that. You're gonna be just adding that to your bucket list in order to gain a more healthier perspective for yourself. Or you're really going to be reaching out to another person in terms of you know, how to live your life more joyously, like kind of like following in their footsteps, but also, you know, healing yourself for the better. I like that. Healthcare change is healing yourself for the better. That's so beautiful. So do like whatever it takes, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're doing today. Is there anything else here that I need to say? Nope. Next card is Seeking and Finding. Okay, wow. So there's definitely dream coming true vibes. Oh my god, I can literally, like, I feel like the tears coming up right now. I can literally feel it because it's just so beautiful. There is something you always wanted to go after. So there is a dream. I want to say not, it's just one dream, okay? But even though, to me, just like miracles, there could be small miracles and big miracles. Just like miracles, there are small dreams and big dreams, okay? Now, I feel like it could be one dream that's very big and one dream that's very small that's happening on like today, in terms of you've always put this out there that you wanted to do for yourself, and now you're finding that it's coming to you. You've attracted it. It's divine timing for that dream to come true. It's either one big dream or one small dream, or like I said, one small dream and one big dream. Okay, so like both, you know, either two dreams happening or one dream happening, if that makes any sense. Yeah, this is super huge, guys. Like, and whether if it's a small dream coming true, it's still so super huge because of the fact that there's so much gratitude behind it. And it's such an aha moment. And you're just like, oh my God, this is how it was supposed to pan out. Like, how freaking beautiful, you know? So, what was I going to say? Is there anything else that I need to say for this? Nope. Okay. So, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, moving on to, actually, do I do the, yeah, they're telling me to leave it for last. Okay. So for the feminine energies, beautiful. You're feeling united today. And you know, for the, I feel like for these yang energies, this could have been your morning also, you know what I'm saying? Or your foundationals of what's happening to you today. This is more like, it's a possibility that it's either the latter half of the day as in terms of the feminine energy, or or how you're feeling like on a more like, smaller or yin level, okay? So unity is hibiscus, which is really beautiful. It says your spirituality connected, your, uh, what does it say? Hold on. Your spirituality connected to everyone through, oh, I'm, I'm like, oh God, hold on one second, because I'm really not reading spiritually right. So you're spiritually connected to everyone through God. Use the sacred bond to heal your family, friends, and yourself. Now, what I'm getting here immediately is heart-based connections, okay? You're feeling very high vibrational in terms of how you nurture others around you. And through that, you're actually uniting everybody. You're uniting yourself within, because there's a reason why this came out like as the first card to the masculine yang cards, excuse me. So it's kind of like you're realizing that part of your action in life is to kind of unite your energies within you to then be nurturing to yourself, to then also be nurturing to others. So it's like something that you did this morning for yourself is now being kind of flowing over into your divine feminine aspect, okay? Also, there was something else that I was getting here. Unity. Yes, unity is literally a form of equilibrium, a form of rebalancing, and a form of wholesomeness, right? Because again, it's like a synonym of it. So, and I never thought about it that way until now, where it's like once you unite, once you kind of come together in terms of like your masculine and your feminine energies, you're able to, like, that's you being in balance. That's you being in harmonious congruence with yourself. That's what I'm getting. Harmonious congruence. Congruence. I think that you're supposed to say it a little faster. What else do I have to say for this card? Nothing. Okay. Nothing. You're gonna get nothing. That's how I like it. It's like boom, 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 and again, these are fresh new energies that we're working with. So I'm very grateful that it's kind of, to the point. It's very direct and very, uplifting, which is beautiful, right? So the next step after that, and again, this is more towards, I feel like, the end of your day, is the first step. Breaking down this problem into tiny pieces, making it easy to take the first step. Now, I'm strongly getting romantic, what I want to say was emotional romantic feels from this, okay? So you're taking the first step somehow in order to kind of get real with yourself on your romantic essence of your life. But this could also be first step in terms of like taking the first step to really like in-depthly, like with whatever epiphany you got this morning, you're going to be putting it into more of an in-depth type of formed or like organizational, format. That's what I want to say, not formed, but format. So yeah. And I think what you want to do here is also you want to take this bigger project and you want to kind of like reveal itself more to you, where you don't want to forget about it, and which you won't forget about it, but I think that you're creating kind of like a successful system around it, where it's like, okay, one thing that you're going to do every day to take the first step to making it whole. And the idea of it is actually like something that you thought would take a really long time was like right underneath your nose. Like, so it's actually your first steps are not going to be, my necklace is ringing, so it's like it's jingle belling. So that's a confirmation. So basically what you saw as maybe such a crazy like in-depth project will kind of feel like only one step needs to be taken in order to really complete it, because that's how far along you've come into it, not knowing it. But now you're like, oh my God, like this is something that I've already been doing like either subconsciously or for yourself or whatever. Like you have already realized that you're doing it. You're and again that goes back to one of my favorite quotes that that Teresa Caputo says, like you are not, I forgot, oh damn, I can't verbatimly say it. It's something like you're not a you like I can't, whatever. I'm gonna take the latter half of it, which is you're doing it. Okay, so you're doing it. I can't remember the first half of it. So yeah, you were always in the doing of it. You just never noticed it. And today, the epiphany is that you noticed it in terms of how what you've been doing for yourself is really going to kind of put a project or dream into gear, into like motion. But the dream is not going to take as long as you thought it would take if you were just looking at it from like a dream perspective. Okay. Do I talk about my example here? Okay, they wanted me to talk about my example. For instance, my example today came to me where, you know, I wanted to write a book for a very long time. And I've been working at trying to kind of chip away at, you know, what these ideas could be, you know? And also, it's really amazing because as you live a spiritual life, everybody is some sort of God sent of a messenger, right? So a lot of the things that, you know, were told to me by other people, you know, I was kind of piecing together with what I thought creatively would be something that I would love to form as a book, right? And the whole thing is, like, so I was like working at it, and then one day I kind of like came to the conclusion where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go. Like, I mean, it's just, it wasn't even a conclusion. It's just kind of like an energetic ending where you're like, okay, well, you're just gonna forget about it for a second, and that's okay. And then all of a sudden, I mean, with a whole bunch of synchronicity that happened since, I want to say yesterday, but it's always been there, right? It put me into a perfect formation. I like how we're talking about formatting and formation. That could definitely be there. Where you're facing forward towards a dream that you never even realized was actually developing the entire time. But now you've come to the point where you reach the aha moment in terms of how you're piecing it, and you're like, oh my God, this is what I'm going to write my book on. And you didn't even realize that that would be the book that would get you kind of excited. But today you realize that there's something within you, heart-based wise, that comes together. Again, the unity card that comes together, where you realize that this is going to be worthwhile. Okay, this is going to be your worthwhile. This is going to be exactly what you're going to end up following through on. Okay, because the other ideas that you've had in the past, you've worked at them, you've chipped away at them, which is beautiful, but they were you never could grasp them, and there was never meaning behind it. But today, you're realizing through a lot of the life's patterns, you're realizing that, you know what, I've seen people, like so many people go through this. I want to help all of them, but I can't. So you're creating that one thing that people can actually prosper from, you know what I'm saying, in terms of healing, that you never realized would even be a healing tool. Okay, so the whole thing is, it's like it's really just beautiful that it's coming into, and I'm super excited about this project, guys, like super excited that I will be taking the first steps to do. But with that being said, I wanted to let you know, the way that I was saying that is that, you know, if you just take the concept of writing a book, right? You think to yourself, holy fuck, that's a really long process, okay? So you're like amped up and ready to go in terms of mind over matter, where you're like, okay, you understand from a mental perspective that a book takes a long time to write because it's a process. However, today, you realize that the book is not going to take you as long to write because you've been doing your process for a very long time. So that's what I'm saying. It seems that this project that comes upon you is literally so simplified, where you understand it so well that something that could look very long term ends up being short term. So here's the first step, and it's like literally, if you take the first step, that could turn it into completion. It's like so fucking quick, like that your dream can come true that you don't even fucking realize, you know? So I get thoroughly excited about like seeing this card in that sense because it's like, wow, like that epiphany, it's so fucking huge that I never even realized that life can even work that way, you know? Is there anything else I need to say for this? No. Moving on. Oh my God, look at how beautiful these pinks are, guys. Yes, these are such beautiful, like pinkish cards. Love it. So, when it comes down to it, that means like a lot of creativity, a lot of compassion in the future, you know? Um, okay, so this is, oh my God, this is totally confirmation of it. It's so beautiful. So here's that third card. This is going to be probably mostly for your latter half of the day. And guess what, guys? I'm also going to say that today is, I just want to remind you, today is a divine, what is it called? Divine day where, I mean, every day it's divine, but today is an extra special divine day because it's January. So it's 1/11, which is 111, right? Which is 3, which is, you know, divine love, divine creativity, divine expansion. They're telling me to say divine grace because, you know, that's also, you know, the feminine aspect of God. So that's beautiful in terms of what or feminine aspect of love is what I like to call it. You know, I like to actually refer to God as love because it's more so, it's, yes, we've been created, but it's very much so we've been created with love no matter how we were, you know, conceived or formed, right? Because it's all like a baby in general is a huge blessing. Okay, so that's how we're going to look at it. So that, or that's how I look at it. You don't have to look at it that way, but I just feel like it's a more simplified version of saying, hey, God is so far out there, and God is like, because I feel like a lot of the times, like the word God, like doesn't really, as simple as it is in terms of the written word. Literally, it's like, I feel like people complicate this shit so much where it's like, if you talk about love, love is like, oh, everybody understands what love is. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they can feel love, but they can't really feel God all the time. That's why I like to go with love because it's more of a feeling and people understand that and can connect and grasp to that feeling rather than to that if you say God, it's like I know that I'm super even detached when, I mean, not detached, but just I can't connect as well to that idea or concept as I can to a feeling. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like God to me is like a little overplayed, even though I believe that there is something out there that created us, and whether you refer to him as God or you know, anything like any that yin and yang balance of energy, that's what's important. You know what I'm saying? So because we kind of need to all become wholesome, united within ourselves, and, you know, there for one another, right? So what did I want to say that? So yeah, so super powerful energies in terms of the 111, where it's like it's like a creation energy. It's huge. So we're coming out of a 10 cycle, which is a completion, a full circle completion, and now we're starting off with literally an expansion of, and 3 is also love. I don't know if I mentioned that, but also 3 is like, you know, past, present, and future, or 1, 2, 3. So again, taking the first couple of steps towards like your dream goal. It's huge. Now it says, so all of this stuff is what I'm getting in terms of the storyline and how it's flowing. Literally, you are super excited, super happy, super like ready to go for whatever this epiphany is that came to you, whether it be a project or whatever. And now, as you're working towards it, you are letting your inner beauty shine. Okay, this is so beautiful. It says you are a brilliant example of God's love. And I like how they use God's love here because again, love is an energy, okay? God is like basically the creator that put us out there, which no one knows, like no one has like met yet. You know what I'm saying? So like he's like the being, you know, the being of love, but also let's really practicalize it in terms of bringing it down to the ground here. The being of love, right? It's like being in your love state is what basically is going to make you a believer in yourself and also beautiful and also shiny and also will create believable shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and good shit at that, by the way. And also makes you brilliant. I'm taking all these B words as in like being in love and being in love with life, right? Being in love with yourself, being in love, I mean, there's just all this beauty that comes from it, right? So it's so beautiful. Then it says everything about you is perfect, which I like to say yes, if you understand how imperfect you are. Okay, so by grasping all of your imperfections in terms of owning them, you in fact turn out to be even more perfect in other people's eyes, and which is really hilarious because that is unity within yourself, right? Taking your strengths and your weaknesses, acknowledging both to be like, oh, I really suck at something, but I'm really good at another thing. You know what I'm saying? So that makes you so super real, so super like kind of where you bring light to you bring a light to a lighter you bring light to a heavier part of yourself, which are your weaknesses that some people can really kind of look down upon themselves for. But really, if you bring the light into that darker area of yourself, you then complete yourself an entire spectrum of light, because of the fact that you've just owned your shit like wholeheartedly, right? So I don't know. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Okay. So it just makes so much sense, but this rose is the same way, right? It's kind of like a circular motion. It's like a spiral. So there's like a spiritual type of essence to your project today that you feel super compassionate and in touch with, and in love with, right? That you're just like, you don't give a fuck, like in terms of, I mean, I know I've been really like, lately I've been doing a lot of romantic type of reads in terms of like a person coming in, but this really goes to show, this reading really goes to show you how far you've come in terms of loving yourself, where this project or this epiphany realization, whatever you've come to today, literally shows, what was I going to say, literally has you concentrating full-fledged wholeheartedly on like this project and epiphany that really kind of lit up your world, where you're like not even interested in your romantic life. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're romanticizing yourself. You're letting your own beauty shine. You're like, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is actually getting me really excited about life, and it's lighting me up, and it's making me feel my beauty essence. And so you're kind of more so energetically pumped in terms of getting this, whatever it is, whatever you're working on, that epiphany project realization, you're getting pumped up about it, and you're really kind of putting out that light into the world as you work on it. And this is a very, like, what I see is like kind of like a labyrinth. So like your work that you're going to be putting out there is very kind of like, it starts from the inside and then it swirls from the outside. We're going this way. So I feel like you're really going to be super yin today in terms of how happy this like at your core, this passionate thing that came up for you in your life today is making you feel that you literally, I mean, you can even, so it's interesting. I kind of created like a rainbow effect, but it's like the spectrum can go back and forth all the time. So this could be, this could be like how all these energies that I'm talking about can literally go, they can come in and out of your life today, right? So what I'm sensing here is let your inner beauty shine. You could have even started off with this today and then taken the first step to kind of unite yourself on like a, compassionate level. And then you kind of took like simple actions to get to your realization and epiphanies. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of, it's just really beautiful in terms of how you are, it's like the pendulum effect, right? It's just like your life is a pendulum effect today. So really feel into how your energies are and work with, any ideas that are coming out of here. And you'll see that, I mean, I just love it because I just feel as though there's been something that you've been really working towards so like wholeheartedly, like you're willing to commit to it, but you just didn't know how. And all of a sudden today it hits you like a fucking I was gonna say torpedo, so I'm gonna use like a torpedo where you're like, oh my God, like this is so cool because it's gonna help so many people. It helps you out where you feel very useful and you feel very helpful towards so many people, right? And yet it's by you going way, way, way on the inside of yourself to then expand yourself out, right, into the world where it's like going to give everybody a realization and epiphany, right? So what I want to say is what you're getting as a realization and epiphany today is literally something that I feel is closing a gap in an issue that maybe was never really spoken about and never really no one ever really applied like themselves to in terms of uniting a gap. Okay, so again, the unity comes out. And a unity and realization, it's the last kind of, or last or the first, however you want to see it. It's the last or the first cards of both the divine masculine, divine feminine set. So literally they go hand in hand in a more balanced level. So, you know, you're uniting something in terms of a problem that you see that that you see that a lot of people are having. You're kind of linking them in terms of, you know, creating this realization and epiphany a type of project or business or whatever the fuck it is that you think that you've had your eye on, that will really kind of create this beautiful effect for, you know, for generations to come is what I'm hearing. It's really big, guys. It's really big. Am I moving on to this one? Okay, so they want me to go over the bottom of the decks. The bottom of the decks is grief work. Now, here's the interesting part. My book has so much to do with grief work. It's crazy. But but you would never think in terms of what it would be, right? So again, today what you're piecing together is very unique to your inner world, to your insides, to what you really care about, okay? And you've cared about it for a very long time where you've actually become super obsessed with it, but maybe in the wrong way before now. But now the light is being shown in terms of unity upon everything, negative and positive, where you literally are like, okay, I get how to piece this together. Now, I'm also sensing that somebody, whether it be last night or into today, you're going to, like, there's somebody out there that tried to kind of, or if you think about it, I don't know, maybe it's like a, what's it called? Like a memory in your mind where you think about how somebody had tried to shoot you down at one point in terms of what you cared about so much. And they tried to tell you something different than what you already knew. But you this project will actually actualize itself in terms of the strength that you wanted to stand up for at that one moment in time. Okay. So this is super huge. Now, grief work to me also talks about sensitivity. So it's very interesting that we have a gentle type of vibration in terms of a rose, right? A rose is very gentle. Grief work is also a very gentle type, a type of energy. So by the way, guys, I'm seeing that you're commenting. I'm going to get to it right as soon as I finish or divinely guided. Okay. And thank you for commenting. I just feel like I want to kind of finish off this flow before I get to everybody, but I'm definitely going to look into your comments in terms of at the end of this video, if you don't mind. Oh, I love how you're saying yes, yes, yes. That's beautiful. Thank you. And I'm going to take a look because I can kind of like half-ass see your comments. So I'm going to take a look for my phone in just a second. That's part of why I need to like kind of switcheroo. What was I going to say? So, grief work. So that's very interesting in terms of how the grief work, this gentle type of masculine, this gentle type of energy is coming up in our masculine side, which could also, if you haven't reached that epiphany today, that could also be something that you kind of want to reach inside of yourself to see, hey, what gentle aspect of you can you make more yang today in terms of kind of uniting the world, in terms of what the world needs to kind of gap something together, okay? And like there's going to be a problem. I mean, you see something for what it is very clearly. There's a problem here. You want to fix it. You want to show up actually for everybody in the same way, but you don't know how to help all these people because you know it would take too much energy from you. Okay, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a certain project or whatever it is to basically have it be a one-time shot where those that are interested in helping themselves will actually help themselves through the energy that you put out. Okay, so for me that would be a book. Okay, and it's because and again, so we're gonna be kind of, it's like everything's being connected. Your memories from, you know, that you've experienced from the past, your you know, people, the messages that people have told you throughout your journey in this life, like, oh, you should do this, or you'd be great at this, or I see you doing this. Like, you know, there, all of those types of people are, the encouraging people are messengers, right? And so yeah, so you're just piecing it all together and it's going to be like an extra aha moment, you know, extra epiphany. Now, nice. Okay, so here's I was wondering to see if this card would be like more of a masculine card because it's interesting. It's kind of vice versa, right? So these are the masculine, the masculine type of like happenings today with the energy of grief work, which is kind of like healing gently, okay? Gently healing, taking, you know, something that has to do with a process and a progression of sorts, okay? Here's some, so I was wondering if this had a more masculine feel since it's on the feminine side, which it kind of does, because if you think about it, it says open your arms to receiving. You've prayed for help, now be open to receiving it. This is something that I feel is masculinely oriented. You know why? Because of the fact that I feel as though this is going to be coming outside of you. Okay. So it's something, and I want to say it's like spirit pouring itself onto you, so that like pouring this into you. Like, so it's basically like a miraculous, oh, you know what I'm also getting? If you've received a gift very recently, it has a lot to do with your work. It actually enhances your work. So it could be like, for me, personally speaking, oh, they don't want me to say it because they want to keep your mind open, I guess, about it. But they basically, you could be receiving a gift that really kind of helps sustain this, or helps you open up to what it is that your purpose is. Give me a second, guys. Let me just see what's up. Okay, so yeah, so this is just open your arms to receiving, and and also because you're going to be kind of applying yourself, this is also very like yang type of work, outwardly work, right? So you are going to be putting, now I get it. So like, let's say if you're a writer, right? A writer, conceives from within themselves. And they're still super yin, right? They're still super contracted within themselves. However, the act of writing is very out loud. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is like an out loud type of, it's like a super yang to your divine feminine energies, right? Which is, it's just beautiful. So that's the type of kind of like, that's the type of energy that you're going to be working with today, if that makes any sense. Let me get to your comments, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, I gotta detach from the cord now. Thank you, Eve, for showing up. That's so beautiful. It's great to have you here. Let me just read your yes. Yes, you get beaten down, then have to stand up and say something for all. Yeah, absolutely. That shit is so super fucking annoying. And like, the thing is, I just recently had to do it, and I like, and it's funny because, do I say it? Okay, I'm gonna say it because sometimes I'm like, should I say it in case, I don't know, like sometimes I don't want to like put people on the spot if they know it's them, because it's not a friendly vibe. but there's been, very recently, in my life, there's been like a person that I've been dealing with, I guess, that really likes to kind of mirror the shadow side of me. Okay. And the thing is, since I've dealt and united myself with the shadow side of me, you can't take me down anymore. Like, that's literally what it is. I'm committed to it. I'm always going to kind of say that I'm imperfect and I'm perfect at the same time. That's where your strength and weaknesses come into play, and that's how you get real with yourself. That's how you also stay real and also become very real with others, right? So, long story short, I had another segment out of my life happen just last night where, again, that was kind of talking about what you said, beaten down. It was like somebody who was trying to beat you down yet again came through on that type of energy, and I gave it a second to kind of think about it, because you always want to think about what another person is saying, because then that's super ego, where it's like where you can't even have somebody express themselves to you, right? And then it kind of just like fucking shuts everything down. So the whole thing is, it's like the person that came at me yet again, and I like said to her, I was like, you know what, let me think about that. And then I did think about that. I said, here's why. And I backed myself up, right? So I quote unquote stood up very gently to this person, kind of, explaining how I work to them so that they kind of know that I really do stand by my words, and I think about my words before I speak it, because it's more so my words come off of a feeling, okay? So, and what happened then was, it was very transformative, because I had given her the space and the gift of being able to express herself. But also then, by me standing up and by me saying, no, you can come at me anytime you want, but just get ready for a battle, because I'm going to kind of be standing up for myself all the time. This person at the end of the night had realized that what in fact was being the battle was like kind of within herself, right? And what I was very so mystified and beautifulized, if I can even say, about the entire idea of life was literally how, how my gentleness and how my offering of allowing her to speak her mind, then and allowing me to be vulnerable and sticking to that for the rest of my life, because I love that shit. I love feeling my feelings, and I literally was about that too, which is so interesting. And it was about the yin and yang aspect of, the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies of what we think a badass really is. You know what I'm saying? So that was it was a very cool conversation. I have only cool conversations with this person, but like lately they've been a little heavier, right? And not to say that, there's no love there. Of course there's love there, but I am committed to continuing to bring love to each and every situation, no matter if it is against me or with me, or if it seems like it or if it doesn't, right? And so that showed me yesterday that I'm going to continue standing up for myself. This person understood that too, because I continued to come at it, at these scenarios with that type of essence within me, to say, hey, listen, if you really want to battle it out, I'm not backing down. Like, we're really going to talk about these things, and that's fine. But the whole thing is, she then realized that, when, and I believe this, I mean, no one really said this, but I just felt as if what I have been saying and what I have been also doing has been very aligned and has given me really great results, of which another person, of course, wants to have within themselves, right? Like, a lot of people, when they realize the goodness in you, they realize that they want to have that too. And then they, at one point, even if you have to go through a battle with it, you get very, you end up getting very vulnerable if you're allowing yourself to receive. Again, open yourself to receive what you really are in need of. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that made any sense to you, but I'm saying is, if you stick up and stand up to the people that are really kind of there offering their tough love, Softer love will always win, put it that way. And sometimes my tone of voice comes out very harsh, you know what I'm saying? But underneath the harsh voice is the soft love, and that's how I like to have it, because I will be very kind of direct with you, which is a very which is very masculine type of like direct, just to get through to you. But the whole thing is, the essence of what I'm saying has a very soft and nurturing essence. Okay, so this is where you have to become more balanced to how to stick up for yourself. Also, where, you're kind of like allowing somebody else to speak, but allowing yourself to speak a little bit with more purpose is what I'm hearing. Okay. So yes, Evelyn, you are, yes, 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 just as right and just as happy. So then I have to stand up and say something for all. Absolutely. So let me just read this. Yes, you get beaten down and having to stand up and say something for, yeah, absolutely. And it's, a lot of the people who care in this world, they literally do care for not just their own stuff. They get mad for how a lot of people act like this, right? So again, we're talking about people who are actually going to do stuff for the collective, and not just like just fight because we have to fucking fight. It's like, no, when I'm fighting and sticking up for myself, I'm doing it for every heart that kind of feels like me out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of like supposed injustice, that's happening to you. Right? That's so funny that you know what, Eve, like with your comment that you said, yes, and I thought I missed all my morning readings. It's like, yo, that's so true. Like, that's part of the, so it's hilarious. You just gave me a new perspective on my readings, where I felt like I was missing out on all of my morning readings when I come in late, right? Like, again, it's all divine timing where you're thinking you're late, but really, I've just noticed that my readings are more midday, like whether it comes on at 12, whether it comes on by 3 or 4, like they're in the midway happy. So I just have to fucking surrender to that and just be real with it, and that's where it is. I guess we're just, that's the happy point. That's really what, Buddhism or, mediumshipness, really. I mean, because that's like, I came out with that yesterday, guys, where it's like, I really just have to own it. Like, I'm a medium at the same time of being a Feng Shui Muse, right? So I guess you want to call me a Feng Shui Muse medium, like that type of thing. But that's where that's how I can kind of help rebalance people, by me coming on late, but also having a fresh perspective on how everything in life is playing out for us, with these energies. How to help is, oh, that's hilarious. Your comment on 119. I have to might read it over again slowly, because it's actually, for me, it's very hard to transition. Like, if I'm in this flow, I have to like stick in the flow and then transition into like logic. You know what I'm saying? But also, it's not like logic, it's all spiritual, but like there's kind of like a mediumship flow to these cards, and then me transitioning into logic is like, yeah, I guess it's going back and forth, which is totally fine. I just don't feel like I do the best of that all the time. Especially since I can only focus on one thing at a time. Like, that's like, I have like a male and masculine type of brain mindset when it comes down to efficiency. Because you have to stand up, be tough, be a man to say something. Right. I mean, so just to play off of what you just said, I've always really like, so I understand when they said be a man, but I've actually transpired it to be a human. Okay. So whenever we're, if that ever comes up in your life, guys, in terms of, somebody telling somebody that, just be a man about it, like be what, it's literally what they're trying to translate it into is, be a courageous human about it. Okay. So it's because, to be a man about it, we all have to kind of have that essence, that energetic essence within us. to kind of go forward and do shit in terms of get shit done for our lives and other people's lives. So, never just wait for a man to get it done for you, like in terms of like, oh, like you be a man about it. It's like, no, 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 we're here. If you're in any type of collaboration with a man, whether it's like in a relationship or like a partnership or, business, whatever, it doesn't matter, colleague, you don't leave it up to the man to do the traditional things, because we are all humans. That's how we unite, okay? And that's how we're all gonna get shit done together, because we can't wait for one person to do the human duties or the man-like duties, and then the other person to get away with shit, or the other person to lack in it, because that won't get shit done at the end of the day. So I just wanted to let you know that, if somebody's not acting human, that's probably why they're telling to man up. That's why they're probably being told to man up, but really it's humanize up, to really connect with, the courageous aspect of yourself, but also to kind of get shit done, right? Or to be better in a sense. Days of work for a half page of important work writing. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, literally, they do, and it's so crazy. It's like it's a mirror of sorts that they try to take you down, but also it's kind of like, guys, we live in a childlike world, where it's so interesting. We grow to, like, if you think about the pattern of the world. We start off as children, we end as children. But do we ever really outgrow our childlike essence in the middle? No, we still have it. So my whole thing is, it's like, if you start seeing people as more of a heart-based child, okay? Or, children that behave, or adults that behave like children, you are going to live an easier life, for sure. You know why? Because you will see their behavior is very much so consistent with childlike stuff. So if a person is against you, or seemingly against you, it's literally because you're not playing well with them, okay? Like, you're not playing well with them. And what did I want to say here? Because my mind went elsewhere. I wanted to say that, so if a person is kind of seemingly against you, it's because they see that you have something that they want, okay? And we're all human. We do this, right? Sometimes it comes off in the form of like really crazy J word. I'm going to just say jealousy is the J word, which doesn't even exist in my book. But for others to like understand where I'm coming from, I'm just going to use it as that word. But like, that shouldn't even exist in your world. You know what I'm saying? Because you should be so busy being so happy in how you're fucking, developing your life, that like you're not even looking at somebody else's life. The only reason why you'd be looking at somebody else's life is looking upon somebody else's life as a biography to kind of learn by, to be like, oh, listen, I'm not gonna take that route because that's super unhappy the way that person's doing it. And then I'm gonna take this route because that's super happy in the way that person's doing it. So you're basically, that's where you're comparing yourself and developing your happy life to know how you're going to live it, rather than comparing yourself in a negative way to be like, oh, this person has something I don't. It's like, bro, that person maybe was not born with it, but like they maybe cared more about it than you did, right? So all of a sudden you want exactly what that other person wants, but maybe that person nurtured themselves into building that for themselves, and yet you want to just come around and like leech on or latch on and just take it, right? And like be that, like, overnight. And it's like literally you have to give yourself like, you can't, like, effort. It takes effort to get to certain places. Like, some people look upon successful people as like, wow, they've made it. You know what I'm saying? But then they get jealous about how they made it. It's like, yeah, but you didn't see the background fucking effort that it took for them to get there. You know what I'm saying? So that's all a part of, that's all part of, there's no reason to be jealous. There's a reason to just look upon another to say, hey, you know what? He did the work. Let me approach that person vulnerably wise to see what type of work did they do in the pursuit of their happiness. Now that's very interesting because in the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, and I'm pretty sure the people that follow me have fucking seen it, but The Pursuit of Happiness, there's a scene in the movie where the guy sees what is it? Will Smith sees the one guy, I guess, who ends up being his boss, pull up in a really fucking awesome, car. Now, from a poor perspective, and I don't want to even say poor perspective, but if he was in lack of a perspective, he would see it from a jealousy perspective. That's how I want to put it. But he was a very of abundant perspective where he saw something that he actually was like, wow, dream come true. Happy that this guy has it. Now I'm going to actually get the courage to ask him, hey, I see that. First of all, it takes somebody to kind of point out like, oh, I see that you have this for yourself or that you've created this for yourself. Now, what do I do? And he said that, what do I do to get that car? He said it directly. And so the guy was able to kind of put him onto the path of, here's how you're going to get that car. You know what I'm saying? So again, you have to be very vulnerable and real with yourself in this life to actually approach somebody, more so to learn from them and to compare yourself in that way, to be like, oh, so what am I doing versus what they're doing? I have to just own up to my shit's wrong and their shit's right, and I'm not going to be jealous about it. I'm just going to give myself the patience and time to work at the process and progress in that process for me to attain what I really fucking want. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So you're comparing yourself in a good way, not in a jealousy type of way, because that shit is not needed. Okay? It's not needed at all. It's a lack mindset. Yeah, sometimes that happens where it's like, you have to kind of, what's it called? Like, you actually said it really well. Where was it? I don't know. I can't remember. Let me see what's going on here, guys. Where it was buffering. Yeah, you said it really well. Yeah, sometimes the buffering happens. That's why I can't do it off of my phone for some reason, but the phone comes in handy like this when I can like read the convos. I had to scroll back a bit, but wow, that's interesting since people shadow my struggles. Yeah, that is all about the shadow, the struggles, man. It's crazy. Or the struggles of the shadow. But you know what? We gotta snuggle the shadow. I don't give a damn what anybody says. And even if they do say something, you've already snuggled it. There's nothing else that you're gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that about me. It's like, I already know, because I put a lot of thought into myself. All right, I put a lot of thought and beauty into myself, and people don't realize, you know what inner beauty is and outer beauty is putting thought into your fucking life, okay, and thought to yourself and like seeing how you work. So when we're talking about the future is to do that for yourself and to constantly be on your game with that, or literally to, also take into consideration that, your knowledge and spirituality, what some people find really fucking boring, or what they also call like self-preservation with the self-nurturing and self-love or whatever, that literally has a lot of thinking involved there. So thinking is very sexy, guys. A lot of people don't fucking think enough, okay, about what they want in their life. And not only thinking, but thinking and doing, right? It's the balance of both worlds. So as when you think and you come onto your aha moment, you need to act. That's basically how it works out, or if you come across an aha moment where you think, it's like if somebody teaches you something about their life, where you think that it's going to apply to you, you think about it and you act and you put it into gear without any excuses. I mean, if you love yourself, you're going to do it immediately because there's no time to waste. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to own that shit to the day you die. That's all I got to say is like, you just own up. You own up to that love. Let's see. Yeah, there are a lot of adult bullies out there. But listen, I'm telling you, adults are children too. So if you understand how children work, which is something that I want to put out there too in terms of learning like children's psychology, because it's literally foundational to what our society, how our society works. Because the thing is, we think just by the physical development of ourselves into a child, into an adult, has taken away the inner childlike self. It's like, no, the childlike self is always there. That's how we come back to it at the end of our lives, right? Like that's how we come back to it in our old age. Where has it gone? In the middle. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just that you were really unhappy because you didn't acknowledge it as an adult. And then you know, because you're happy as a kid, and you could be happy as a fucking elderly person because of the fact that you're just like, you super don't give a shit as an elderly person, right? Like it's like basically you just like, you've lived your life, you don't care, you're like at this freedom. But the thing is, in our adulthood we can have freedom too. It's just like the aspect of not allowing ourselves to get caught up in the seriousness of life, first of all, but also seriousness of life in our life causes stress. But if you're not serious, you know what I'm saying, like in terms of a good way, like if you're seeing your life more from a childlike way, you get to live a responsible life, but also with a childlike essence, which is actually super sexy, and it's very it prolongs your health. So talk about healthcare change. I mean, literally, maybe it's an epiphany that you reached today, even maybe through this reading, that you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna start living my life like a fucking little kid, because you never really outgrow it, you know? Doesn't go anywhere. It's just the physical mind that sees an adult, you know, or the mind that sees an adult in front of you thinking, oh, you know, that's like who I'm working with. It's like, no, you're working with the inner person. Okay. You're working with the essence of a heart that's on the inside, and also the really inner person of a being, which is, your inner child, right? Oh, thank you so much, Eve. That's super. I'm like super grateful that you guys are on here actually, because you know, I had an experience yesterday where it was just you know, it made me believe in spirit again, you know, because I'm also like, when you're talking about personality wise, like if I take a personality test, I'm a mediator, right? That's the result that I get. So it's really funny because I'm a medium, right? At the same time, but it was very tough for me throughout my life to actually figure that out, because I was very like, I'm very harmoniously balanced within myself, but you know, in terms of, you know, the divine masculine, divine feminine, but the whole thing is I never was able to own it because I was always back and forth in the wrong things. You know what I'm saying? Like I was back and forth in terms of the things that like would make somebody else happy and me happy. But once I started putting myself first, and, you know, and I grew into that, I then realized, okay, I'm going to do what I love. Okay, that's just a reminder. What does it say? Let all you do be done with love, but, you know, do everything with love. So the thing is, it's like, you know, if you start doing what you love to do, you know, and do everything that you do with love, okay? You literally, what I want to say there is you literally then get to go back and forth on the positive things and on what works for you and what would work for others, rather than, you know, what would work for others in terms of, for me, it was my parents. Like I was like, oh, what would make them happy and what would make me happy in terms of line of work that I was doing. And in terms of also believing in spirit, right? Because my parents they find it a little fucking crazy that I believe in spirit because I never really grew up that way. But the whole thing is, it's like, I just had to own that within myself, you know? And so yesterday I had this experience, which I chose to give myself because my birthday's coming up on the 14th. So I was like, you know what, and I love experiences. That's like one of the best gifts that I can ever get, is like an experience to do something fucking new and then like to learn from it and to like expand myself from it. So I love it. even though I love gifts in general, but even gifts can be very expensive too, right? So, and an experience in and of itself. But so I chose to give myself an experience, and I decided that this experience. No, it wasn't even decided. It was literally like given to me, where it was like, no, you have an enhanced belief in spirit today, and that's going to be a commitment and a connection that you take on for the rest of your life. And I was like, you know what? I agree with that. I'm so down with that because of the fact that I don't want to be fucking back and forth confused anymore. Like, I want to side with what I fucking believe in, and everybody else can fucking hold their horses. You know what I'm saying? Because it's too confusing as a person that really has the mediator type of personality, which is like, you want to make everybody happy, but guess what? You can't. I want to make myself happy first to then give out a higher level of happiness. And that's really what it's all about. Because if you put yourself last, I mean, literally, you still exist. You can still create some sort of happiness. It'll bring happiness to others, by you being around and stuff like that. But it's not at the highest and best form. I want to be at that high form where I can really be giving, myself that high form of happiness, but also exude that shit onto others. Because why the fuck not? You know what I'm saying? It does take more work. It does take more effort. But once everything is in place for you, once you put everything in place and you really stick to it as one of your habits, it really doesn't become like a lot of work at the end of the day. It becomes just routine, which is so beautiful, like a habitual routine, Yeah, be a human. Yeah, instead of being a man. I love that. Oh, thank you so much, Eve, for subscribing. I really appreciate that a lot. Yeah, this way we can stay in touch, and you're always more than welcome to come back. It's a beautiful thing. It's funny. They say it's a man's world, which I think, I never really wanted. Listen, whatever somebody says some shit like that to you, you really have to take into consideration, because again, that's a belief system, okay? That a lot of the statements that people put out into life is kind of like a belief system that, that's attached to it, right? So, or that it describes. And so for a very long time, I had to see how my world was playing out, because I never looked at it from a man's world, but I've heard of it like from women for a very long time. It's a man's world. It's a man's world. And I was like, but if it was a man's world, it would only be man, right? Like, it would only be a masculine, right? So I'm like, it can't really be that. But then I realized, that there were things that I think that we were missing, in terms of the masculine was also missing within themselves, in terms of just owning their aspect side to themselves, of which half of their human being is a feminine, right? So that's where I was like, oh, I see what people are saying is like, it's like a man's world. It's like, yeah, it's a human world where the masculine really, I mean, if you think about it, it's a yang. It's like they're the hunters, they're the I want to say hunters and poachers, God forbid, but like, that's what they are. They don't fucking think, they just go, I want to say some people, many of them think, I'm not putting them down as they don't think, but I'm saying, like, if they were to go back to, let's say, their feminine side or their heart side, or just like inside, to kind of like reevaluate or even bounce it off of a woman, like an emotionally stabilized, emotionally sound woman, then they would actually probably have a better approach in terms of how they're going to go about going after their stuff. But again, that takes patience. Patience is a feminine concept, which men don't have. They just want their fucking rewards, and they want it now. But that's why we as women, we have to come out of our shells, and not just nurturing the men all the time and giving them what they need immediately. We have to teach them patience. You know what I'm saying? That's where it really works. Like, I feel like a lot of, I mean, I can literally talk about this forever, but I feel like a lot of, like mothers, they're obviously divine feminines, and we need them, but they're teaching their sons that, like, they're giving them everything. They're giving, like, immediately. They just give, because they're coming from a nurturing standpoint. But then after that kind of habit, like the divine masculine then starts to date, and then it's not going to be their mother, but they're looking for somebody to date, expecting that the chick that they're going to date is going to be like very nurturing and very giving, like their mother, like to give immediately, like their mother would give their entire heart for them for, you know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. So the whole thing is, it's like, but the women that the guys end up dating have to really, have to really kind of teach them patience, because it's about self-worth. It's about valuing yourself, right? And that's where like the entire, so if mothers and, if those women who become mothers, work with other women in terms of just patience in general and being patient, like, with everything in your life, then literally we are going to create a better society, because of the fact that our men will actually end up growing, like our boys will end up growing up knowing that, hey, the final rewards that you receive in life are going to happen, or like the finest, put it that way, the finest and final rewards that you end up receiving in life are going to be the best, due to having the utmost patience. Okay, so patience really creates a lot of great golden opportunities in your life, and not even opportunities, but golden receiving, right? So a lot of this stuff, like even today, there's something that you were waiting so fucking long for it to be developed, and now you receive it today, and it's just beautiful, So again, and you feel great about it, because again, you've endured so much patience towards it. But at the end of the day, it's like, wow, it's even more rewarding when you have to kind of wait for it a little bit, right? It's not that like that, what is it called? It's not that, like immediate, results or the rewards that you get. What do they call it? Immediate, whatever. I can't remember. Yes, I mean, Eve, I agree with you. Women have not come that far as of yet. I agree with you. I mean, we have a lot farther to come, but the whole thing is, we can very quickly, I mean, today's energies too, very quickly can come so far, because if they were doing the inner work, and if they were sticking to their vows, virtues, values, vibrations, really high vibrations, things can happen so quick, you know what I'm saying? And the women, it's like, but the thing is, we also can't say that either, right? Women have not come so far, because guess what? Women don't even have to come that far. Women literally just have to be, they have to just be love. Because in my in my thoughts, I really feel that women give a little too much, because of the fact that we are the sex that's made to give birth and to go through this fucking pain to give birth, right? And so my whole thing is, with that being said, since men don't have to do that, men are okay with taking on the pain of doing a little bit more work, right? Us women need to own our power and utilize our human strengths. And by that I mean, physical form, spiritual, mental, everything, our bodies. Like, I'm not saying sit back and relax. And I mean, you're able to do that too, obviously in balanced form, in a balanced way. But the whole thing is, it's like, but us women need to pull back a little bit. That's what I'm saying here. It's like, we just need to pull back, because that's exactly how we are going to come far. It's like, I always say, it's like pulling back not a boomerang. What's that thing with the thing between a slingshot? It's like pulling back a slingshot. The slingshot is the midway stance type of thing. And obviously, if you pull back, which is the feminine, you pull back, you're gonna fucking shoot so far in the equal and opposite direction that there's no other fucking way that it's not gonna happen, and it goes fast. So it's like, so the more that you pull back your reins on things, the more things will change up in an equalized, healthy aspect of, I don't give a fuck. So you do it on your own and see how you like being on your own. And at one point, the male is going to turn around and say, hey, you know what? I really fucking love teamwork. I really love having a fucking other person like working with me and working stuff out with me, and I rather have that type of support rather than fucking doing all this on my own, because it's painful when you do everything on your own, but a woman has to value herself enough to pull back to say, hey, I'm going to learn from this masculine guy, see what he's doing, see, or even our masculine side to ourselves, see how we all kind of play out. How do we put ourselves out there and see what we need to do a little less of and see what we need to do a little more of. And the only way we end up doing that, the only way we see how we like it or not is literally by how we feel. It's that by how we feel is the gauge. It's like, okay, I really feel so great doing that. I'm going to do more of that. I really fucking feel like shit doing this all the time. I'm not going to do that shit anymore. You just like literally say that and you end up building a really beautiful, harmonious life. And some people are not courageous enough to do that type of shit because it comes off rude or it doesn't come off polite or whatever. But it's like, no, all we're asking from humans is to be kind to themselves and kind to others. Politeness comes at a fucking dinner table. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, politeness is beautiful if you're going to, you need to know about it. You need to know that when you're at a beautiful function, there's etiquette there. There's, you're sitting with somebody who you're honoring. That's a beautiful thing. I'm not saying like get rid of that. I'm saying know about it. But in your everyday life, you don't need so much etiquette. It like takes a little too far. It makes you a little too fake if you take it to a really far extreme, I feel as though we are equal. It's just that there's different terms of expression, right? So if you put together the two words, expression and equality, like equal expression, I feel as though that's the equality that we need there. That's the equally that we need there. You know what I'm saying? And by doing that, like in a conversation, right? Equal expression means I give you your time and space to talk about what you need to say, and then I give my time and space to talk about what I need to say. That's human to human, really good fucking communication. You know what I'm saying? Or not having any communication at all is really good fucking communication, right? It's just like, fuck it. Like, you just cut that shit off and just know where you stand, stay in your lane, and it's a benefit for both people. You know what I'm saying? But don't do the back and forth bullshit where it's like, oh, I know I don't like talking to you, but I'm still going to talk to you. Or, I'm not even going to go into that, but like, you know what I'm talking. Like, it's too crazy. How long have I been on? It's been a development. I don't actually know. It's funny that you mentioned that because I just shook my camera. I just thought of it the other day where I was like, wow, it's so crazy. Where I started doing my YouTube, it was at an address where the numbers started with 333, which was the Ascended Masters. So it's really funny that you asked me that because I like just thought about the other day and I was like, wow, I started working with the Ascended Masters when it came to me starting up a YouTube video, and I didn't even realize that. And and they've been actually making their way. They've been actually making their presence more known to me, like more prevalent in my life. Very much so recently. So I feel as though the full circle again, completion of the circle happened yesterday. So that's very much so. The truth. But to be honest with you, I still have my first video up where I don't know. I was thinking about it to myself and I was like, should I leave my first video up? Because it was super awkward. I super didn't know what direction I was going to take this channel in. But little by little, I said to myself, no, you know what? I want to keep that there because that's the only way that people will see what the fuck I've put out there in order to fucking fail to get to my one day success. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like, it's like I want that to be there to be, to have people feel courageous enough to what was I going to say? To feel courageous enough to kind of put themselves out there, even though you suck. You know what I'm saying? Just put yourself out there, because one day you're going to grow comfortable with it and you're going to see what works with you, and you're going to, you're going to feel it out, and you're going to see exactly what direction you feel like going into. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I had no direction, and that was a point where I really wasn't, like, I knew I was spiritual, but I wasn't owning it. You know what I'm saying? So now I just feel like I feel better about my decisions, you know? Yo, Eve, that's the best. First of all, what you sent that comment in at 145. 145 is it's a very celebratory number for me. So when you say you flipping out again, yo, that is the best. That's the best. And let all them bullies say you flipping out again, because that's, in a sense, is fucking true, right? You're flipping out. You're flipping out in a good way. Like, I don't give a shit. That's amazing. And that's the best way to put it. Yeah, I'm flipping out. This is my flip out time, where I get to fucking flip and do fucking backflips and shit because I'm so fucking happy. That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you for teaching me that. Let's see what I'm just like reading your comments. You're hilarious. Yeah, it's funny. I had an issue with that too. I was thinking, I was like, because first of all, I don't put out negative energy. So when it comes down to the comment that you said about blocking, those that don't agree with you, it's like, it's very interesting because a lot of that has to do with childlike mannerisms too. Some like, I like to always use, and I'm going to say it because I come from an old school household, so I don't give a shit. But I always said, like, some people like have never been beaten in their life, like in terms of like gotten their ass beat. So, they're going to act a different way than a kid who has been, kind of put in their place a couple of times, right? So again, the blocking kind of, I debated for a very long time in the beginning of my videos. I actually didn't allow people to comment, but that was me protecting myself from not having to read bullshit, because it's like, again, that's bullshit energy that somebody would be bringing my way, when all I bring, or all I try to bring, is value, even if they don't see it. But at this point, I'm like, you know what? I actually appreciate all the comments that come to me, and I'm going to look at it because it's my responsibility to see things how I want to see them, right? So by that, I mean, I'm going to take every commentary, even if it's meant to be like an asshole, type of commentary, where I would want to block somebody. Like, I'm gonna just take it as a beautiful gift of a message where I can decipher, actually, like, kind of like look at what the actual message is really kind of coming through and telling me. So it's more so of like, it's to help me out, and it's not really to kind of what's it called? It's to help me out, but it's not to put anybody else down, and it's not to get mad at. It's like, because again, some people haven't dealt with their bullshit in life. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, many of the times, those that like need the blocking in terms of the commentary, they just get super annoying. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only time that you would want to block somebody, really, is like when they're super annoying, when they don't understand, when they just keep on coming back. And again, it's just like one of those things. It's like, you really weren't put in your place where you were taught the human respect. Because listen, I don't give a damn if I come on live video, or if I'm off video. You need to be acting the same fucking way. There's no reason why you should be changing your ways up behind a fucking screen versus versus me in person, right? So if you would never say that to somebody, if you would never comment a stupid fucking comment or a stupid ass like nastiness. Meanwhile, I've met people that I'm like, yo, how are you not shameful for saying that shit out loud, like to somebody's face? Okay? But like, thank God I'm not that person. But like, the whole thing is, it's like, don't be that person because all that you attract is that. So, do yourself a favor and just put out like really good shit so that you can get really good shit back. That's really how simple it is. Yeah, okay, that's true. What you're saying about the dudes is true. But let me just tell you something. Again, that takes. I'm telling you, my vision of love literally. Sometimes you got to pull back a lot, and it would take a mass of us to really kind of. Oh, thank you. Yes, immediate gratification was what I was looking for before. Yeah, that's so true. Sometimes it would take us women in our masses to come together to basically kind of show the males in our society that they really can't be without us and we can't be with them, right? But what I'm trying to say is we can't wait for a whole bunch of women to get along with each other to then become a collective of women to, stand up, quote unquote, against these men. We're not against them either. That's what I don't like. I don't like that shit. But the whole thing is, when it comes down to it, like I feel as though, here's how I feel. This is why we have to be on such a yin level, especially as women, to fucking create changes within ourselves for the better. Because as we do this one by one and become awoken to the aspect of, we are allowing to let our inner beauty shine, whether or not we feel imperfect or perfect, just to unify ourselves within ourselves. That's the only fucking time. And if we do that where we kind of stick, that's interesting. If we do that where we kind of stick to that groundwork for ourselves, we literally are going to unite within ourselves on a very big level, but also outside of ourselves on a very big level. Okay. Also, what I wanted to say here is I feel as though if you take a picture today or in your world, there's going to be an orb. Okay. A green orb of healing. I've been seeing that lately too, which is kind of crazy. Like the green orbs of healing. So just say, thanks Archangel Raphael, and thanks to the spirits that end up showing up there. Also, it's more so fairy. Oh, that's so interesting. It's fairy energy, but also has a lot to do with mediumshipness. Oh, that's interesting. So you're uniting your inner world and your outer world in terms of believing in more mediumshipness and more of those weird type of, oh, it's a not a consequence, but it's isn't it a what the fuck is the word? Whatever. Signs, not convenience. What's the word? Whatever. I can't remember. Eve, you're probably gonna get the word that I'm that I'm trying to come up with. It's not confidence, not convenience. It's when people are like, oh, it's probably, oh, coincidence. Coincidence is what I'm looking at. So, the coincidences in your life, they're really not coincidences. I don't know what I was going to say there in terms of coincidence. I forgot. I really truly believe that the spiritual issues within ourselves are the real world problems that we have. I mean, that's literally where they come from. You know what I'm saying? And imagine taking a fucking group of people that haven't fucking, dealt with their inner worlds. They're going to create real world bullshit. I mean, that's you're so cute. Yo, that's actually a dream come true. I really wanted to create that, and I will be very soon in terms of Yeah, in terms of discussing, discussing and having tea in the morning. That was my whole. That's how I wanted to do is like, tea time with Tina, because my name is Tina, by the way. I really would need to put that in my descriptions. But so I wanted to make tea time with Tina, or like iced tea time with Tina, because I like iced tea. Um, but like the whole thing is I like never got around to it because I can't do two things at once. Like I can't like drink and I can't like talk at the same time. So I was like, all right, well maybe that'll happen like if I actually meet up with people in person and we talk about life together. So that'd be really cool. I'm so down for that. That would be so, because I literally have the best conversations with people, and it's one of those things. It's like, man, when everything is right and the stars are aligned, it's like you get the fucking. I mean, I would really like record all of my friends are so fucking awesome. I would record all of our fucking all of our fucking conversations because we're hilarious, first of all. Second of all, we're like so super like proud of each other that like you I don't think anybody lives like the life that I live, like literally. But I've had to do a lot of sifting through, in terms of who works out for me and who doesn't. And and now I have a very quality-esque life, quality-based life for sure. Very heartfelt too. Yeah, I love that. I like feng shui tie-in. Do it. I love that. Moving a chair, and there we go. That's hilarious. Oh my God. You're welcome here anytime, Eve. Literally, just because I learn a lot from you, and we're having a hilarious chat. Even like this. This is hilarious. Oh my God, that is so funny. You just reminded me of like the whole like flipping out thing with recording a song. Do you remember what's her name from Friends, the blonde-haired girl? I forgot her name. That like is like, I love her. Like, what is it? Not Fifi, not she, it's something. It's like I forgot her name. Is it Fifi? I think it's Fifi. Fifi's like always flipping out. She like, but I love her, right? Like, what's not to love? She's just hilarious. Like, she's just like her own, spiritually type of based person. Oh my God, really? They did a skit on. Yo, I have to watch that. Irish doing home makeover, but drinking, playing fiddle. That is amazing. Maybe I'll do something that plays off of that. That would be hilarious in real life. Synchronicities. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, thank you. I've lightened up a lot and I have to keep the funny going because of the fact that I'm a Capricorn. Capricorns get very serious. So I really committed to myself before this year. I said, you know what? I have to be more joyful. I have to be in my laughing because again, I went through a period of time where I was like really becoming adult like, and I said, I don't like this shit. Like, I mean, I appreciate it for what it's for and how you get wise and how you get you know, like all this stuff, but like look at the adults around you. They're fucking miserable, man. There's nothing that's going on in their life, and I'm like, I need to be still kicking like throughout my entire life. Like I need to make sure that I'm loving what I do. And oh yeah, her cat song. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so true. Her cat song is hilarious. So that was a flipping out song. I mean, but it's still hilarious because it's kind of like it's needed because people, yeah, but oh, let's not forget how her cat song took it to a whole different level where she got fucking paid for that shit, even if she had a little struggle with that. But that was hilarious because somebody wanted it. So creativity will always pay off. Amen to that. Yeah, the spiritual it's so true. Spiritual, and also let's not forget, as I was talking about seriousness, I'm going to just put this out there because a lot of people don't realize this. As an adult, by the way, Eve, I just want to let you know that I thought that you were me as I saw me on my phone. Okay, like I thought you were like talking back to me on my phone for if you can picture it that way. So I want to say that you probably should do YouTube videos also. I don't know if you're like thinking about doing it or if you should be doing it, but I see that there has to be something there that that you can share with us that you can put out on your YouTube. I mean, I haven't looked at your YouTube video, but or your YouTube profile. But you should really, yeah, you should do something with that because that was kind of like a mediumship type of like energetic like thing that happened that I was like, wow, tables turned and I liked it, you know? So, you know, think about something that would make you free and happy and, you know, funny, laughing, and joyous also, you know, in terms of bringing that to the table because, yeah, because we need you too. We need you too. But going back to what I was saying, yeah, maybe it's time to put yourself out there. I think it's a great idea because of the fact that, again, the feminine needs to come out more, you know, they need to come out more in terms of, you know, rebalancing yourself. So if you haven't put anything on out there online, it's very spiritually based. Online is very spiritually based. People don't realize that. So if you are a spiritual type of person, you'll have no problem doing things online. Just keep it real and keep like keeping yourself. There's no difference there, you know? It's just hitting of a button and just being like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Like talking like we are now. So the whole thing is, that's where the roles are kind of turning, like where women are, in order to kind of unite better, you're kind of doing something more dedicated to your yin side, right? Because like when you're on YouTube, you can definitely have a choice to go more yang or like literally keep it like, okay, I'm in my room. I'm just, you know, in terms of setting wise, like I can go outside and be more yang if I want, but I could also stay inside where I feel as though, you know, I like my feminine energies here. You know what I'm saying? And then, but as I'm expressing it more yang, which is out there in the world, which is on, you know, what's it called? On the internet. So the whole thing is, it's like, you know, it's a really good balance if you were to put yourself out there, but you know, also everything in divine timing. So don't force it or don't be like, you know, again, I was talking about different things that you're uniting within yourself today in terms of what people have told you throughout your journey, bringing you to a realization and epiphany. So if that's like a realization and epiphany that you needed in terms of a message being given to you, then that was that, and you're welcome. That was what you needed in terms of, or that was my message to you. So because that's what spirit kind of made me like, actually like I jerked about it because I was like, wait a second, how did she appear on my screen? And I was like, wait, but that's not her, that's me. You know what I'm saying? So I think there is something out there for you, and I'm actually feeling in my heart as I'm saying it. So there's something very love-based that you could actually be putting out there in terms of just being you and bringing, you know, it's kind of like, I also want to create a segment where it's like show and tell, you know? So something like where you can like showcase your, you know, abilities or what you like to do as hobbies and, you know, and see, you know, and it's not even about the feedback really. I mean, it really is never about the feedback. It's just your heart needs a creative outlet to pour itself out into the world, you know? So again, you're just doing it for you, but as you're doing you normally, you would be healing others on a, you know, you have the potential to heal a lot of people on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, or rebalance them or bring them, you know, bring a lot of light to them. So yeah, definitely, you know, see if that ever kind of connects with you, resonates with you. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah. So talk about, okay. So spirituality is very interesting. I think like my spirituality along with my seriousness has like my spirituality has taken on a seriousness that I didn't like, okay? Because sometimes, and it's also mixed in with the practical adulting, right? But so I wanted to say, and I'm going to end with this because my voice is getting a little like it's tired. Even though I'm having so much fun, I could go on for days, but I think I was just like ready to come on here and do the reading and bounce off. But then I'm like, oh, but this is fun. And I do appreciate it always. So it's really nice. The one-on-one chats are awesome, are awfully nice too, because I feel like you have to kind of live in the moment with the people who are available to you or hop on right now, because it's also a gift to be with another person. Because maybe eventually, later down the road, like we won't have that time to kind of, talk and put things out there. I'm actually seeing 222 on the time right now. So it's kind of like have faith and trust that everything's working out for the both of us. You know what I'm saying? And then this way, what's it called? And then this way, you kind of just like know that I just feel like if things start to grow, there's still so much love there because you felt into that love on a more intimate level. And I love it. I love intimate love in terms of, another person showing up for another person. So I just feel like this is a true gift for us being together without having a lot of people know about me, that type of thing, so that we can like literally kind of, we have this time to laugh and go back and forth and teach each other stuff, because, when you add other people into the mix, it's like, you like, there's going to be a lot there, but also I'm very grateful because of the fact that I like this one-on-one stuff. Like I'm not, I'm like, I rather spend one-on-one time with people than, I like groups too, don't get me wrong, but most of the time I really do like one-on-one type of gatherings, so it makes a lot of sense. You know what? I haven't thought about it. I don't think I am, but let me just see. Is it for my highest, best, and good? Is it for my highest and best good to pick another card? Yeah, no, because I think my voice is kind of like zoning out. But one last thing I want to say is that, first of all, thank you so much for being with me. Thank you to all those that are going to watch this video, because it's super, I think there's a lot of quality in it, even though I sometimes Speedy Gonzalez it through the entire thing. However, definitely come back. I'm here every day. It's just that, it's best like do as Eve did, which is to subscribe and also hit the bell button to kind of know when I come on live. Because of the fact that I don't really kind of tell people when I come on, I just bounce on. Like I just like hop on, hop off, and yeah, exactly. Small chat groups, exactly. Like that's how I like it. But also Yang is really good too. Like I mean, there's benefits in both, right? So, oh, you got notified? Oh, that's cool, because I didn't know if that actually, I don't really know how it all works just yet. So that's cool that you got notified, because I was wondering if people do get notified when you go when you go live, if they're not on YouTube. Do you get what I'm saying? Or if they're off their phones or whatever. So that's kind of cool. I appreciate that. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, spirituality, it's also, it's a form of meaningfulness in your life. You are the creator of that, not anybody else. So you have to be courageous enough to kind of do that for yourself and stay true to you, Also, spirituality is definitely what you had listed, which is funny, laughing, and joy. That is my form of spirituality for sure, because of the fact that that is exactly what sets everybody free and what brings everybody together in unitedness when they're able to kind of laugh and have a fucking good time, right? So, did I go into it now? All right. So that's what I wanted to leave that off to you, is like, that's why we really need to stay in our childlike essence throughout our entire lives, but also, not dismissing the aspect that we do have responsibilities in terms of going after our mission, and in terms of, keeping us, sustained in our basic needs. However, don't ever forget that one of your basic needs is invisible, and it's called love, okay? Because you can't manage without it. You cannot. Like, even scientifically, they've done scientific research with gorillas, who they say are very, we are close to them in terms of species, and they can't survive without love. You know what I'm saying? Without the love of their own mother, or a mother-like guardian. It never has to be just your mother. It could be a mother-like guardian that you've clung on to and you say, this is my mom because I've chosen her as my mom because I love her because she puts out mother qualities like my mom. You know, it's not something like I can be somebody's mom on here. You know what I'm saying? Because if they don't feel like they have a mom, or if they feel like their mom is not up to par in terms of how other people think, a mom should be, you know what I'm saying? Or how you've been fed that a mom should be. And you see somebody on here, not just me, but you see somebody on here that has those, nurturing qualities about themselves. It's like, that's your mom, that's the mother-like type of guidance that you want. So I just, and I love it. And I've said, which is very interesting that I said that, because I've always said to myself that I literally am the guardian of all the children in this world, but I never understood that, children don't just end at a certain age. I am the guardian of an inner child, which is within yourself as well. So it's like the children who are physical children, but also our inner children's inner childlike selves. Inner children's, who the fuck says that? But yeah, our inner childlike selves, they need guardians, you know what I'm saying? And they need, they need to feel nurtured. So I am the guardian of that. I am literally the Gaia guardian of that. And I've always said that because to me, it means so much, Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. Like, sometimes they're in and out, but you know what? You can't really be mad at it because it's like there's so much going on YouTube. It's like, you can't. I feel like the systems can't even fucking catch up as to how much we fucking put out there. You know what I'm saying? So, Eve, thank you so much for your uplifting commentary and for teaching me all these hilarious things. I love when people create different phrases and shit, because it's hilarious to me in terms of how spiritually they really are when they can be so fucking foolishness, you know what I'm saying, like foolosity, I want to say, full of it, but it's super hilarious. I love it. So I thank you for teaching me that. I will stay cheerful. I am committed and connected to that always. And even if I'm not, I own up to it that I'm not, and I'm still going to come on here and I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, thank you. I really am out here to impact others for sure. I do. I love gorillas too. Yo, gorilla power. I love it. I love it. All right. Bye, Eve. And bye, everybody else who sees this video. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll be back on tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.